And welcome everyone to another edition of the Coaches Show. Adam Gore here, joined by Stephen Chris, Adam Hamilton today here from Westside Grill. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Also remind everyone that we'll be here Monday nights at 6 p.m. if you'd like to join us for the Coaches Show. Also get some good food as Charles will be officially open this Friday night, September the 15th. He will be open. Of course, Bruce will be hosting Independence in that game, so I invite all you Bruce Trojans out to get a pregame meal here with Charles. Well, as always, we've got a lot of scores and highlights and more to run down here, as well as interviews. So let's get started with that. We'll jump into 1A play here, where Smithville had no problem with Biggersville to the final score of 61-22, where Haynes had 3 rushing touchdowns. In a Thursday night affair, Coffeyville knocked off Montgomery County to the final score of 38-6, where Dandy Dozen member Lee Chambers had 223 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. Hatley picked up their first win of the season, 27-19 over Thrasher. And then Hebron Christian Academy knocked off Calhoun Academy to the final score of 28-6. And then a ball game that you saw here on W07BN, the Vardaman Rams continue to be perfect on the season with a 42-7 win over East Tibahaw. The first of what we call 3 hurdles for Coach Bray and his crew of Rams this season to move on towards that division crown. Both Kelvin Clemens and Terrence Jones each had a pair of touchdowns in that football game. After the game, I had the opportunity to talk with Coach Bray about his win and some of the other going on in the division as well. So we'll go to that. Also want to remind you, next week the Vardaman Rams will be on the road taking on Walnut, as well as in the next week they will be back home taking on Faulkner in homecoming festivities there as well. So we'll go to that interview real quick here with Coach Bray. And welcome back to the post-game show, talking with Coach Mark Bray. Coach Bray, 3-0 of the season. Talk about how good it feels to get, I guess you can say, the first of a few big tests here in your division this year.
It was. We knew coming in East Tibahaw was going to be a big test for us. They're extremely athletic and probably still got a good shot at making the playoffs. All
right, Coach, let's talk about the turning point of the football game. Your team let them score first, thanks in part to I guess you say one of those stupid penalties that you really on a hitting the quarterback late on the play. But talk about the turning point of the game where you thought you really separated yourself from the Titans.
Well, right before halftime, the touchdown pass we threw there, I think they sort of ducked their heads and they never did get back in the game after that.
All right, Coach, Kelvin Clemens, unofficially, I believe, 130-something yards on 17 carries. Once again, Bull getting the job done for you. Talk about his performance tonight.
He did a great job tonight. We didn't block very well, and Bull, of course, broke a lot of tackles, made some big runs for us, and was probably the difference in the game.
All right, Coach, Terrence Jones as well, another nice ball game, over 100 yards passing. Not the quite performance we're used to seeing out of it, but that was a good secondary out of East Tibahaw.
It was. They walked up and played press coverage on us, and they were just more athletic than us, and we had trouble getting open, but we still made the big plays when we needed to.
All right, Coach, I noticed you had a few injuries in the game. Some kids didn't dress out. Your place kicker, I believe, and backup quarterback Josh Long. What's the status on him?
Jacob Long.
Long.
He turned his ankle yesterday after kicking off. Just one of those freak things, and he's going to be day to day. Well, hopefully he'll be back by next week.
All right, Coach, you got Walnut next week. It's one of those teams you don't want to overlook, but you should be able to go in there, take care of business early, and get some more playing time for some of these younger kids.
We are, and that's our plan going in. We're going to try to get it on them quick as we can and let our younger kids play. And then next week we got Faulkner, and going to do the same thing then and let some of these folks injured get well.
All right, Coach, I believe that Faulkner game is also homecoming as well, right?
Right, in 2 weeks we got homecoming here.
All right, so you'll want to get out to Vardaman faithful there. Coach, anything you'd like to add to the win here?
No, we're just going to take them one at a time and see what happens.
All right, Coach, let's talk about just real quick. I know we want to wrap this up. Big game last week between Smithville and West Tibahaw. Talk about West Tibahaw and Smithville together, just how that really makes the division pan out.
We sort of expected. West Tibahaw got a good football team, and Smithville's a little down right now, and we sort of expected that to happen. Of course, West Tibahaw looks like right now is one of the top 4 teams.
All right, Coach. So right now it looks like it's going to be that big matchup on the road against West Tibahaw and down the road, and of course that big rivalry game with Smithville. You know they'll be ready to play for you.
And then we got East Webster too, so we got some big ones coming.
Absolutely, Coach. We appreciate you taking time out of the game. I know you got to get in there and take care of a few things. Good luck next week on the road against Walnut, and of course that'll be the first game. We don't cover you guys this year, but we'll be back from Faulkner next week.
Okay.
And we appreciate Coach Bray taking time out of his schedule after the game to give us a few comments about the game and some of the upcoming games there as well. We'll continue on looking into 2A action. Baldwin rebounds nicely 2 weeks in a row here as they knocked off Morville to the final score of 37-20. And then Bruce picked up their first win of the season with an 18-12 victory over Aberdeen, as Anthony Armstrong had 2 rushing touchdowns in the football game for the Trojans. The Trojans nearly compiled 300 yards rushing in the football game. We had a chance to talk with some of the players and coaches after the game. Steve Witten, Jeremy Kennedy, and Ryan Whittington on hand for that one. So we'll take you to those interviews right now here on the Coaches Show.
Hi, we're down on the field here in Aberdeen with Coach Ray of the Bruce Trojans celebrating his first win for the 2006 season. Coach Ray, I'm sure you're excited to get this first win under your belt.
Oh, there's no doubt. You know, we got a lot of young players on the field. There's a lot of talent on the field, and we start out 0-2, and people kind of getting their head, even including our team. We got our heads down, but we challenged the players Monday to come in and keep fighting, and it worked out. It paid off for us tonight.
We also saw some changes, and I think y'all were working on it this week, where we saw a young sophomore quarterback, Wesley Taylor, come in, and y'all moved Armstrong to the backfield, which is a natural position. Is that something that y'all worked on this week, or was new for this game?
Yeah, we worked on it this week. Wesley's progressed. This is a guy, he's a sophomore, and he's never played quarterback until I got here. And to see where he was last spring to where he is now is tremendous, tremendous job on his part. I didn't think we'd quite use him as much as we did tonight, but they shut the passing game down. We couldn't block. We were hurting in the passing game, so we need to get Anthony the ball in his hands and get Richard a rest and keep him fresh for the 4 quarters.
All right, Coach, from Aberdeen, where we're going to see the Bruce Trojans in action next week against Independence. Congratulations on your first win, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks, Steve.
All right. Hi, we're here in Aberdeen, down here on the field after the Bruce Trojans' victory over the Aberdeen Bulldogs. Joining us right now, the co-players of the game, Mr. Richard Freeland, number 20, and Anthony Armstrong, number 2, and Wes Taylor, number 13. Mr. Freeland and Mr. Armstrong have accounted for over 200 yards this game, and we have a young sophomore quarterback that came in and helped the Trojans out. Just real quick, guys, it looked like y'all a little bit more fluid on offense tonight, and you two guys just were outstanding. 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards apiece on rushing. How did y'all feel about working the offense tonight?
Well, at first, we was a little crappy on offense. Then we came out second half, ready to run, trying to drive the ball down. We knew what we had to do.
Yeah, man, we just got behind the offensive line, got them boys hyped up, man. We just did what we had to do. Had to come through when it's clutch, baby.
Wesley, how did it feel being out there, being a sophomore under a little bit of new offensive scheme that y'all put in just this week?
It felt pretty good. I'm playing with a great bunch of guys. I got a good receiving core. I got great backs behind me. I got a great offensive line. It felt really good.
All right, that's from the field here in Aberdeen, where Anthony Armstrong and Mr. Freeland are our co-players of the game for this evening. Thanks. And welcome back to Lester Miley Stadium here in Aberdeen, where me and Jeremy are going to wrap up tonight's action with some statistics. And we saw some great performances by Richard Freeland, Wes Taylor, and Anthony Armstrong.
Well, absolutely. When you count for 296 yards on the ground, which is what the Trojans had, the 2 big backs, Freeland and Armstrong, they had 36 carries for 271 yards and 2 touchdowns combined. And you take a look at Anthony Armstrong's night, struggled through the air, only 27 yards, but did have a passing touchdown, scored a couple on the ground. Freeland, just a sophomore, and I think if the Trojans can put this offense together every single week, there's no reason why they can't have more 300-yard rushing attacks like they had tonight. Very excited about the future the Trojan fans should be with Taylor and Freeland. It's just a matter of getting these guys to come around and believe that they can win these football games.
That's right, and I think we'll be calling those 3 names out, Taylor, Armstrong, and Freeland, many times over the next few ball games. Once again, we're from Aberdeen, where the Bruce Trojans have won their first game of the 2006 season, 18-12 over the Aberdeen Bulldogs. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Ryan. Anything else?
Well, just make sure you stay tuned on here on W07BN for all the high school football action coming to you this weekend.
And we want to thank Steve, Jeremy, and Ryan for covering that game for us, as well as the new first-year head coach, Coach James Ray, picking up his first win of the season here with the Trojans. And we wish the best of luck to the Trojans next week as they'll be home versus Independence in a football game there here back in Bruce. Other action in 2A, Calhoun City knocked off Water Valley to the final score of 16-7 as LaMarcus Pittman had 180 yards rushing and scored 2 touchdowns in the football game to lead the Calhoun City Wildcats to victory. Well, we'll take a look at the second half of the show with the 3A and 4A scores coming to you here. But before we do that, we'll want to take you to a quick break and be back with more action here from the Coaches Show right after this.
Renaissance Bank in Calhoun City. The name is new, but they still offer the same great service. Totally free checking, savings account, and CDs, home loans and business loans, 24-hour ATM inside, and drive-through window for your convenience. Jimmy Clemens invites you to come by and visit all the staff. Rhonda Ray, Sandra Doolittle, Jennifer Parker, Penny Nichols, Mary Johnson, and Robbie Winter. Come see them today for all of your financial needs or call them at 628-6692. Highway 8 East in Calhoun City, that's Renaissance Bank.
You know, being teammates is about more than just helping each other win races every week. It's also about helping each other learn.
That's right. Michael has taught me that Napa parts are as good or better than the parts that came on your own car, and that Napa parts professionals can always help you get the job done right the first time.
Yeah, and Junior taught me how to do this.
I'm not taking credit for that. That needs just a little work there, bud.
Life is full of major moments. Some you could do without, and some you'll treasure. So for those times when your life seems to blaze out of control, and for those times when all of your hard work pays off, remember who's been by your side yesterday and today, and who'll be there tomorrow. Your Farm Bureau Insurance Agent. Some people just make your life better.
King's Tire in Houston, offering the largest selection of used and new tires. They carry all sizes of many name brand tires. All used tires carry a 30-day warranty. They also offer rotation and balancing. King's Tire is also your place for car and motorcycle brakes and motorcycle tires. They offer windshield replacement, and they do 24-hour car door unlocking. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday until lunch on Saturday. Closed on Wednesdays. They accept Visa and MasterCard. See owners Reggie and Martha Callahan at King's Tire on the southeast corner of the square in Houston. Renaissance Bank in Calhoun City. The name is new, but they still offer the same great service. Totally free checking, savings account, and CDs, home loans and business loans, 24-hour ATM inside, and drive-through window for your convenience. Jimmy Clemens invites you to come by and visit all the staff. Rhonda Ray, Sandra Doolittle, Jennifer Parker, Penny Nichols, Mary Johnson, and Robbie Winter. Come see them today for all of your financial needs or call them at 628-6692. Highway 8 East in Calhoun City, that's Renaissance Bank.
You know, being teammates is about more than just helping each other win races every week. It's also about helping each other learn.
That's right. Michael has taught me that Napa parts are as good or better than the parts that came on your own car, and that Napa parts professionals can always help you get the job done right the first time.
Yeah, and Junior taught me how to do this.
I'm not taking credit for that. That needs just a little work there, bud.
What's going on? You guys not remember we're taping a show here? I mean, but that's okay though. Just chill. I see that I've interrupted your guys' lunch here. Jeremy, you do remember we got a show, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, what are you boys eating?
Hamburgers.
Hamburgers. Any cornerstone to a nutritional lunch. What kind of hamburgers are you eating?
Cheeseburgers.
Not what kind. Where'd you get it from?
Westside Grill and Bruce.
So, I take it that's your burger there.
Yeah.
Mind if I try a bite? Hey, Steven, you want to buy this burger?
Yeah.
You sure? Because they're pretty tasty.
I'm not hungry.
All right, man, but if you're ever hungry, you should check them out. Pretty tasty burger. You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France? And welcome back to the Coach's Show. Adam Gore here on hand with Stephen Chris, Adam Hamilton. I want to thank everyone for tuning in this week. Also remember to go by and thank those sponsors for sponsoring the action here, as you see each week from Westside Grill and Bruce. Remind you can join us Monday nights at 6 is when we tape the Coach's Show. We would like to invite everyone out. Come by and check out the show. Also, while you're here, remember that Westside Grill will open officially September the 15th here, so you can give them a call at 983-2828, place an order, especially for all you Bruce fans out there. You got a home game Friday night, you come by and get you a pregame meal here at Westside Grill. When we left you, we said we would come back with the start of the 3A action, and in 3A, Tupelo knocked off Amory to the final score of 28-14. And then South Pontotoc got the Pontotoc County sweep again, knocking off Pontotoc earlier in the season, and then also knocking off North Pontotoc to the final score of 35-14, as Bowen had a rushing and passing touchdown in the football game. And the Pontotoc Progress each year, I think this makes the third year that they have put a trophy to this. I believe it's called the Horton Trophy, and we'll go to that trophy presentation now.
Phone now is set as we're getting ready for this presentation here.
Pretty neat. They come up with this about 3 years ago, and this is a pretty neat deal to give this trophy. As people know, he was the superintendent for the county schools for many, many years. And even back with the big prayer issue debate, he was there and represented Pontotoc County. And pretty neat to honor him with this trophy each year between these two county rivalries.
We're going to go to the field now, and Ms. Bryant with the Pontotoc Progress here for the presentation of the trophy.
Welcome to tonight's presentation of the Horton Trophy. Joining us on the field tonight for a presentation is your County Superintendent of Education, Mr. John Simmons. Also our school board members, Mr. Rick Spencer, Miss Ann Carter, Mr. Randy Tudor, Mr. Alan Roy. Now I'd like to bring your attention to the scoreboard end zone, and bringing out the Horton Trophy is the Pontotoc Progress Sports Editor, Mr. Tim Tudor. The Horton was named after our renowned educator and superintendent of education for the Pontotoc County School District from 1992 to 2003, Mr. Jerry Horton. Mr. Horton, if you will now present the trophy to this year's undefeated, undisputed county champion 3 years in a row, Coach Paul Dees and the South Pontotoc Cougars.
My friend.
And congratulations once again to South Pontotoc for getting the Pontotoc County sweep this year with a 35-14 victory over North Pontotoc. Kosciuszko defeated Houston 40-20 in a ball game that, although the score is a 20-point difference, it was a lot closer than that if you watched it here on W07BN. So Houston looking to get back on track this week as they will travel to Calumet City for Calumet City's homecoming. More about that later in the show. Nettleton got 224 yards passing and 4 touchdowns out of quarterback Jamie Boland in a 40-14 victory over Okolona. And then to wrap up the 3A action, Booneville knocked off South Tillow to the final score of 34-14. Andrew Southward had 3 touchdowns in that ball game as well. And we have some interviews from that game, and we'll take you to those interviews now. And welcome back to the Booneville High School dressing room. Coach Jim Drury. Coach, congratulations. Last week you played a team with a lot of quick strike ability. Tonight you showed on the opening drive quick strike ability. Your team goes 80 yards in the first play and offensively made some good things happen.
Well, we didn't play well last week, and our kids knew it. And tonight they came out, you know, kind of like the Blue Devils of old.
Tell us a little bit about your game plan coming in the football game. Your kids seem to really execute offensively.
Well, we felt like we could get outside on because it's big and strong inside and everything. And we were able to get outside, like you say, on the first play of the ball game, we were on a sweep. And Southwood broke it for about 80 yards out. And then we were able to throw the ball and take advantage of some of their mistakes.
I thought Case Downs played real well defensively for you. He seemed to be all around the football all night long well defensively. He got his hands on a couple plays and pretty active as well.
Case did, and our whole defense played a lot better. Last week we gave up over 400 yards. Tonight I don't know what the yardage was and everything, but at least we kept them out of the end zone.
Kept them out of the end zone, and of course, Coach, like you said, offensively, moved the ball well. I go back to last week's game. I know you guys weren't happy with what happened, but there was something that we thought was pretty impressive. You guys took the opening drive of the second half last week, took about 9 minutes off the clock and scored. That was a nice drive. So you did some good things last week.
The only bad thing about that was we took 9 minutes and we scored and everything. It took them 8 seconds when they got the ball. So we got that kind of corrected, I hope.
Next week, Coach, I know you step. People will talk about it's the first game of the new season, really, and that's when it really counts. You play Morville, but more importantly, it's a big region game.
Right. It's our first region ball game. It's homecoming. I'm one of these coaches that don't care about homecoming because there's so much distractions going on, but we've got to have it and everything, and hopefully our kids will bounce on further than what they have for this past week.
Well, Morville, of course, they're a team that they have some pretty good athletes, and last week I think they lost to Manatchee. Manatchee is a much improved team. I think playing better, but Morville will pose some challenges for your football team.
They certainly will. They'll be after us because we beat them pretty good last year and everything. They've changed offenses, and of course we've got to get ready defensively for them.
Coach, your team played awfully well tonight. I know you have to be proud.
Well, we played a lot better. That's the main thing. As long as we can keep improving, we're okay.
All right, congratulations and good luck next week against the Troopers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. And welcome back once again to the Northeast Tiger dressing room. Tonight, the Booneville High School dressing room. Marcus Sanders. Marcus, big night for your football team. Coach Drury talked about guys didn't play as well as you wanted to play last week, but tonight, offensively, you guys were clicking.
Yes, sir. We just came out and practiced. We practiced real hard this week. It wasn't like last week, and we was messing up and everything. Our hearts wasn't in it, and this week our hearts came in it, and you see the results.
He ran the football hard, had a big touchdown reception on a screen pass, a little 5-yard reception for a touchdown, but you ran the ball with some authority tonight and really made some things happen for your football team.
Yeah, well, it's me, but it's also the line. They came off excellent. I mean, there was holes you could cut back and run and juke in. It was all the line tonight.
Well, the adjustments that you guys made, I guess, on your offensive line probably really paid some dividends this week.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about that. Some of you guys really put the hats on the right people tonight, didn't they?
Oh, yes, sir. We that's a lot what we went over in practice. We just stayed on practice, staying on our man and coming off and blocking, especially me because I missed a few key blocks last week. And then this week, AJ and Sam and all the rest of the line, they came off real good, and they came on. That's what we worked on a lot is the running plays and get the pass plays so we can pass block and get the ball off and run the ball.
You're one of the I call you one of those old throwback type players, and which I think those are fun because you know, you're one of those kids, you got some athletic ability, but you really play the game the way it's supposed to, hard-nosed and between the tackles, try to make something happen, you know, and you know, and you know, you're kind of like, you know, one of those old guys that you know, the old Larry Zonka days. You don't even know who Larry Zonka is. I'm sure you're too young. I'm showing my age, but the guys that fullback that you know hits the hold up. You know, you're not going to dance a lot.
Yes, sir.
But just run hard.
Yes, sir. You know, it's the way I've always wanted to do it, and I love running over people, and I like juking them too. So it's just this line that's able to let me do that this week.
One thing we noticed, and they did it last week with you, caught a short touchdown pass last week. When you got guys kind of get in the red zone, particularly, they seem to look for you a lot out of the backfield, throwing the football to you out of the backfield as well.
Yeah, it's just some stuff like we practice that a lot too. We practice throwing out of the backfield to the backs. You know, it's just something we come by and I happen to be pretty good at. You know, I ain't the only one, but you know, we got others like Southard and Bo Brown. They can get the job done too.
Matt Brown's got a lot of talent for a young kid.
Sir,
he really does. Real quick, we'll talk about something and we'll let you get on. I know it's, you know, high school football on a Friday night and girls and everything else, and you want to show them that nose and how it looks, and that way, you know, everybody wants to do that. But next week it's a different game, even though it's like Coach Drury said, it's a homecoming game.
Yes, sir.
He says he doesn't like them. You know what? And if he says he doesn't like them, I don't argue with him because you know he's the dean of high school football.
Yes,
he's the
sir.
winningest coach in high school history in Mississippi. But you know, it can be a distraction, but you know, you guys have to forget about that distraction and get ready to play because next week you have to strap it on because it really counts next week.
Yes, sir. It's a first division game. We got to practice even harder this week. You know, we got to come out not playing around. We got to come down to business so we can get another win on the win checklist this week. It's real important to us. You know, if we don't, we're going to be down 0-1 in division. So we really want to come out and win this one big.
Well, congratulations tonight on the big win. Good luck next week against Moore.
Thank you.
Here with Andrew South. Andrew, the sophomore tailback here for the Booneville Blue Devils. First time you touched the football tonight, you go 80 with it, Andrew.
The line blocked and opened up a hole and gave me a chance to cut back, and I just took it.
Took one of the house from 80, and then a couple. I guess the next drive you had another one, about a 19-yard touchdown on this.
Yeah, it's just open on the outside, and I ran it in.
We got to talk about the third one a little bit. You had your 3 touchdowns tonight, and this was the one that we thought was interesting. It was on a reception this time. And I had Coach Frazier, Tommy Frey. I know you know Tommy was up there. We were doing a softball interview at the time. He said he probably got in the end zone. But he said he sell calls in baseball all the time. But he said Andrew sold the call at the end zone to the official. And you may have gotten in, but you had to do a little sales job on the official to give you the touchdown, didn't you?
Oh yeah, the screen's one of our better plays that we like to run, and the line just got downfield and blocked.
Tell us a little bit about that play, and particularly, I guess that's a play you guys ran effectively tonight. You threw the screen pass for big yardage a lot of times, and that's a big weapon and a big arsenal in your arsenal. That's a big part of your offense, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We like to run that play a pretty good bit.
Next week you play against Mooreville. Of course, I know this is your first year. I guess maybe you played a little bit last year, but your first big year to make some big contributions. Of course, you've got a lot of backs. You and Marcus and Bo are doing a great job of running the football. Next week you guys will play against a Mooreville team that, you know, they've got some good athletes, and it's a region game, so it really counts.
Yeah, homecoming's not expected to be a big game, but it really counts. Mooreville's a hard-nosed team, and we're going to have to come out and play.
Andrew, congratulations. Big night for you. Good luck next week against Mooreville. Congratulations on your big game tonight.
Okay, thank you.
And welcome back to the time. So I guess we'll speak with Case Downs, and then we'll wrap it up if that's okay with Case here with us, Stephen. That's okay. But Case Downs, congratulations tonight on a big win against a football team that you guys really play well against. I know you guys expected to win the football game, but any win's a big one. But it's particularly a big win when you have to get well after one you had last week, isn't it?
Yes, sir. It's just we really wanted to win this game. We've been working real hard this week, and after last week, we just had to step it up.
Well, we talked about it tonight upstairs, and we thought you were very active tonight, maybe more active than you were, you know, in maybe the first 2 weeks. But you were around the football a lot, had a lot of big plays defensively, got your hands on a couple, got your hands on one, and got that big left hand up and not one down on the line of scrimmage. But you seem to be active, and I guess you know, making defensively. I guess it was probably in a drop type situation where you on that play where you got your hand on the football, but. Did they do anything offensively that you guys weren't prepared for? Or pretty much they did everything you guys expected?
We've been studying film, and we knew everything they were going to run. And we've been working towards it, and we just stepped it up and held them down.
Well,
next week is the big week. We've alluded to that with Coach Drury and also the other two players, with Andrew and also with Marcus, and they both talked about the game against Morville that's coming up next week. Big game. Everybody talked us homecoming, like Coach Drury said. He said, I hate homecoming. And he's, I can understand how he feels like that because, like I said, it's got to happen, but it's a region game, and that's why it's important. If you guys want to make a run into November, and play in those first couple weeks in November, hopefully deep into November, you got to win that You got to start winning the football game next Friday night, don't you?
Yeah, it's our first division game, and we got to start the season off right. We get the playoffs and see what we can do with the season.
That's right. And Morville, a team, they've got some pretty good athletes. I mean, they've the last couple of years that school has gotten bigger, kind of like us. They were same reason we were in 2A for a long time. Now we've bumped up to 3A, and this is the same reason we're in 3A again.
Yeah, they got just about everybody back this season, so they're a real good team, and we expect it's going to be a good game.
Well, it will be. And, of course, the Blue Devils will entertain them here at Keenum Stadium. And that will be a big game. Hopefully the Blue Devils can get off to a good start, get a big win, and move forward with the football season as well. Case, congratulations tonight. You played awfully well.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations to the Blue Devils as well. We're going to do something different. We're going to wrap it up with Case here with us, Stephen, if that's okay. The Blue Devils reminding you victorious tonight here at Keenum Stadium on the campus of Northeast Mississippi Community College. The Blue Devils 34 and the Saltillo Tigers nothing. Next week the Blue Devils will entertain Morville. Saltillo will travel to Fulton to play against Coach Jamie Mitchell and the Fulton Indians. That game will be played at ICC. Well, for Paul Blansett and for Case Downs with us right now, and for Stephen Chris, bidding you a very pleasant good evening here on the campus of Northeast Mississippi Community College. We'll see you next week here on Vista 3 Media, Cable Channel 98.
And we want to thank everyone that took the time out after the ball game to talk to us, as with coaches, players, as well as Steak and Paul for helping us out with the ball game that Friday night, as well as Stephen Chris. As we'll run down our 4A scores real quick, Oxford came from behind to knock off Senatobia to the final score of 28-14 behind DeAndre Carran's 3 rushing touchdowns. Shannon, big-time ball game over Holly Springs to the final score of 64-20. Lafayette County picked up a big win over Louisville, an impressive win there against Louisville to the final score of 23-21. New Albany, not really a shocker, but a shocker to some, knocked off Corinth 27-21. They were down 21-6 at halftime, but they were able to score 21 on extra points there in the second half to come away with the 27-21 victory over Corinth. Ripley knocks off Pontotoc to the final score of 34-22. McGregor had 2 passing touchdowns in the ball game for the Warriors. And last but not least, Tishomingo County still undefeated on the season with a 34-12 victory, with Pritchard scoring 3 touchdowns, one being a 75-yard kick return in the ball game. Well, that's going to wrap up our scores for the week. Before we take a look at next week's action coming your way, we're going to take you to a real quick break and remind everybody that Friday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Charles will have Westside Grill open. He'll have seafood and steak special. I believe maybe a seafood buffet, as well as other food. He'll be wide open come Saturday as well, so you want to come by before the game Friday. If you're in Calhoun City, Bruce, Vardaman, or if you're just well worth the drive, want a good burger, come by here at Westside Grill. And Bruce, across from Sonic, give them a call ahead. Place your order, 983-2828 here at Westside Grill. We're going to take you to a quick set of breaks and come back with some action for what's going on next week, and then also take a look at Calhoun Academy and a championship they won in football this past weekend in Marshall County. So we'll be back with that and more right after this.
Hey, you know what they call the quarter pounder with cheese in France?
They don't call it the quarter pounder with cheese?
No, see, they use the metric system. They don't know what a quarter pound is.
So what do they call it?
They call it the Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese. Then what do they call the Big Mac?
Oh, it's still the Big Mac. Only they call it Le Big Mac.
Oh, what do they call the Whopper?
I don't know. I didn't go to Burger King.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hey, look, Westside Grill. Dude, let's stop there. They have great food anytime.
Life is full of major moments. Some you could do without, and some you'll treasure. So for those times when your life seems to blaze out of control, and for those times when all of your hard work pays off, remember who's been by your side yesterday and today, and who'll be there tomorrow. Your Farm Bureau Insurance Agent. Some people just make your life better.
King's Tire in Houston, offering the largest selection of used and new tires. They carry all sizes of many name brand tires. All used tires carry a 30-day warranty. They also offer rotation and balancing. King's Tire is also your place for car and motorcycle brakes and motorcycle tires. They offer windshield replacement, and they do 24-hour car door unlocking. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday until lunch on Saturday. Closed on Wednesdays. They accept Visa and MasterCard. See owners Reggie and Martha Callahan at King's Tire on the southeast corner of the square in Houston. Renaissance Bank in Calhoun City. The name is new, but they still offer the same great service. Totally free checking, savings account and CDs, home loans and business loans, 24-hour ATM inside, and drive-through window for your convenience. Jimmy Clemens invites you to come by and visit all the staff. Rhonda Ray, Sandra Doolittle, Jennifer Parker, Penny Nichols, Mary Johnson, and Robbie Winter. Come see them today for all of your financial needs, or call them at 628-6692. Highway 8 East in Calhoun City, that's Renaissance Bank.
You know, being teammates is about more than just helping each other win races every week. It's also about helping each other learn.
That's right. Michael has taught me that Napa parts are as good or better than the parts that came on your own car, and that Napa parts professionals can always help you get the job done right the first time.
Yeah, and Junior taught me how to do this.
I'm not taking credit for that. That needs just a little work there, bud.
And welcome back to action. Settle down, settle down. As we're back here on the Coaches Show from Westside Grill in Bruce, I want to thank Charles this year for hosting the Coaches Show, as well as all the other sponsors for being a part of this year's Coaches Show as well. We're going to take a look at some of the games coming up this week. Oklahoma will be at Aberdeen, a pair of 0-3 teams looking to try to pick up their first win on the season. Best of luck to the Bulldogs in Aberdeen for this ball game, as Oklahoma will be traveling to Aberdeen. Amory at Shannon this weekend, a huge ball game there. Bill Morgan, Soup Campbell, and myself will be on hand for that ball game. Baldwin at South Pontotoc. Paul Blantz at Stephen Chris will be on hand in South Pontotoc for that big matchup. It was a great ball game last year. Interesting to see how it turned out this year. Morville will be at Booneville. Independence at Bruce. Steve Witten, Adam Hamilton will be on hand for that ball game there in Bruce. Houston at Calhoun City on homecoming night in Calhoun City. Reggie Callahan with the call between that ball game. You can check out the local listings for the time that will air. Holly Springs will go on the road to North Panola, and then South Tillow will be at Itawamba AHS. Rosa-Fort will travel to Lafayette County, and Nettleton will be at Manatee. New Albany will have a tough test on the road at West Point. Oxford will host DeSoto Central for their homecoming this Friday night. Ryan Whittington, Jeremy Kennedy will be on hand for that ball game. Ripley at North Pontotoc. Smith will be on the road at Hatley. And then Pontotoc will be at Tishomingo County. Thrasher at East Ottawa. Vardaman will travel to Walnut, and Calhoun Academy will travel to Newton County Academy. And speaking of Calhoun Academy, I want to give a congratulations to the Pee Wee football team for winning the preseason Marshall Academy Classic this past weekend. It was played between teams of 1A, 2A, and 3A. And Calhoun Academy, they played the opening game of the tournament, won that 16-8 over Marshall Academy. Then later in that day, they knocked off Kirk Academy to the final score of 22-8. And then they knocked off Briarcrest out of Tennessee 8-6. And then were matched up again with I believe the second team of Briarcrest in the championship game. And they won the championship game to the final score of 6-0. So congratulations to the Pee Wee Cougar squad there at Calhoun Academy for winning the Marshall Academy Pee Wee Football Preseason Classic Tournament this past weekend. Well, that's just about all the time we have here on the Coaches Show, as we have a little bit of time left. We're going to bring you a couple of special interviews that we had during the football season this past week, some other coaches as well. So we want to invite you to stay tuned next week. Remind you to join us Monday night at 6 o'clock here from Westside Grill. Also remind everybody in the area that Westside Grill will be open Friday night, 4 p.m. They'll have the seafood and steak special. I think maybe a seafood buffet as well. I know Charles is inviting everyone out. You'll want to come by and get some of that food as well. I know I'm coming by at 4. Adam Hamilton said he's coming by. Steve-O said if he's got time, he's coming by. So come by. I'm sure Adam Hamilton would love to sign some autographs for you as well. Well, that's about as much time as we've got, or at least Steven's telling me to wrap it up here. So from Westside Grill, we'll say see you next week here on the Coaches Show over on W07BN.